The victors valiant, the conquering heroes, and they call home the Big House. Bathed in maize and blue, welcome to Ann Arbor, home of the Michigan Wolverines. Little gets the blood boiling, quite like a rivalry game. Barbs, shots, trash talk, things that go on throughout the week will now all be settled on this field. As we'll see a squad from the Big Ten, the Northwestern Wildcats, taking on the 10th-ranked team in the land, the Michigan Wolverines. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, joined here in the booth by David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. And guys, let's get this thing started. Western ready to kick it off to get things started. And he takes this from inside the 5. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. The Wolverines' offense is on the field for the first time today. And the adrenaline is pumping on overdrive in games like this, guys, and it's crucial to get your emotions under control.
No doubt. In rivalry games, you've got to limit the mental errors.
Oh, he dropped it! Oh, and just like they drew it up, put it on the ground, fall on top of it, still get the first down. So the officials take a closer look, and the replay booth will overturn the call. He'll do it himself. Just a solid stop by this sophomore. They'll run this play from the pistol. The give to the back. And they'll wrestle him to the ground after a short gain. A 3rd and long coming up here. From the gun, wants to pass. Working the middle, it's complete. A quick tackle made, but he's got ready for the first down. And the Wolverines are moving quickly down the field. Here's the handoff. They'll pick up 4, 2nd and 6 coming. Went to the running game on first down, now here they come again. The play action fake. Couldn't find anyone open here, and he'll live to fight another play. It'll be 3rd down. Bunch formation trying to spring a guy free. On 3rd down, he'll try to pick it up through the air. Has no choice but to throw it away, and it'll bring up 4th down. The Wolverines will send out the punt unit. First punt of the day, and he'd love to lock them up close to their goal line. Able to keep them from getting a return, and the ball goes out of bounds. They're going to mark it right around the 20. So Northwestern's offense has its first opportunity of the day. As we take a look at our impact players for this game, David, what do you look for to make an impact from your leaders?
Your leaders not only have to lead the football team, but they got to step up and make plays on the field, keep everybody calm. These guys typically do a really good job of it.
Yeah, David, and they also generally set the tone for their respective football teams. Regardless of which side of the ball they play on, the teammates look towards them to step up in big games like this.
Looking to throw, it's Kane. He lets it fly. Oh, he gets downfield for the big catch. Offense on the move. A big play there. Gets it to the 30.
This guy's gotten off to a good statistical start, guys, but that last completion, he's already now over 1,000 passing yards on the season, and man, you know he's looking for more.
That's caught. It's Carter. And they pick up just a few on that completion. Northwestern right back to the line. These guys have taken some serious lumps in Big Ten play, and I want to see if they've become demoralized.
Yeah, I think you're going to find out a lot about their mental toughness here in this game, because at the start of the season, they were hoping to compete in Big Ten play. They've had some bounces not go their way. They've had some guys get injured. And now is the time in this game right here that you can turn it around by getting a win.
And it's hard, obviously.
And the freshman will chalk up a sack. The Wolverines bringing the heat on the defensive front as they have so many times through the years.
And you just think about guys that just look great in their unis. Big, strong, Aiden Hutchinson, Jabo, a lot of these guys in the recent history, just they know how to get after the quarterbacks and make their life miserable.
You can barely hear yourself thinking here as they're trying to get this defense off to a good start. He wants to pass it on 2nd down. Makes his connection. They make the stop, but not before he takes a chunk out of what they need to move the sticks. Just outside the red zone at the 21, but it's 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. Fires to the wideout. Can't make the connection on 3rd down thanks to that tough, hard-nosed pass defense, and now it's 4th down. They'll play it safe and try for 3. And the kicker delivers the 3 to salvage that drive. And the first points of the day come on that field goal.
And 3 more on the board, and this kicker is starting to get a reputation starting off the season. Hasn't missed yet. Nice to have a guy that you can really, really depend
on. On the move from inside his 5. And he won't quite make it back to the 20-yard line as he goes out of bounds at the 19. Michigan ready to get that offense rolling again. That last drive won't go on the highlight reel after ending in a punt. And the quarterback goes down at the 11-yard line.
Brings up 2nd down.
After getting nothing done on the last one, this is a big play, 2nd and long from the 11. He's looking to throw, using the quick game. They bring him down, but a solid pickup to put them in position to pick up a 1st down. They line up with some serious work to do if they want to convert this one. On 3rd and long, trying to have a big completion here. Firing to the right, complete. They didn't quite get that route run deep enough to pick up the 1st down. Now they've got a 4th and short.
And I think everybody at home tends to yell at their television set. Why aren't you getting past the 1st down marker? Why did you run your route short? Defense did a good job knowing where that was. But now, 4th down, offense has to make a decision.
The Northwestern offense returns to the field. They've got the lead here. Last time they settled for a field goal, but David got to find that balance between being aggressive and careful.
And I think they'll take that. I got the lead, Palmer. I got the football. I got to take care of the football, put a nice drive together, and just get some kind of points on this drive.
No doubt. Lots to be happy about right now if you're this team. I think for this one, though, on this drive, it's about finding the one-on-one matchups that are in your favor and then exploiting them.
It's complete. Stopped after making the catch. Northwestern wants to go quickly. Looking downfield, it's Kane. And the missed connection on 3rd down. Northwestern will send out the punt team. They'll have to punt for the first time this afternoon. Gets the first one of the day out of there, and we saw a lot of him in that loss last week, 4 times to be exact. Guys, here come those maize and blue winged helmets on offense. Boy, 3 and out last time, David. They'd like to be more productive this time around.
Yeah, in the last drive, nothing really clicked. No rhythm, got off the field really, really quickly. They need to put something together here, Tom.
Yeah, David, bad execution on that last drive, so they got to take a collective breath and start playing like a unit in this one.
3rd and 10, still backed up inside their own 20. This drive hasn't really gotten started. Motion from the offense. On 3rd and long, he has to throw for it. He makes the catch. Finally run out of bounds, but he has this offense rolling with a 1st down.
And the quarterback knew exactly where he wanted to go with the football. Had time, spins the ball deep. Nice job by this offense, understanding what the defense is giving them and creating the explosive play.
Off the play fake on 1st down, wants to throw. A strike downfield. And the tackle is made, but not before that completion gets them 30+.
Well, after that last play, you can see how electrifying this guy is and how special he is after he makes the catch. If I'm on offense, I'm trying to find a lot of ways to get him touches in this game.
Makes the grab. It's Brawl. And that defense doesn't allow a cutback, and they get him out of bounds after a short gain. They're going to throw it again. He's got it and still on his feet. Good throwing catch. Takes it down to the 5 as the offense tries to cash in. And the Wolverines will try to punch it in on 1st and goal. They'll try to get it in with the run. Into the end zone he goes. Touchdown, Michigan!
You know, this guy's had a big role in this offense this year, especially when they get down close to the end zone. That's his 5th rushing touchdown on the year. He's been a factor for these guys offensively.
He'll try to tack on one more. And the extra point makes it 7-3. So a drive there of 84 yards. And they punctuated it with a 5-yard touchdown run. On the run from inside his own 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. Wildcats have it back. The Northwestern offense headed out. Pulls it, fired, complete.
During the week, you got to talk to your quarterback. What do you like? What's your favorite, safest routes, easiest reads? Love coming out with those early with the short passing game.
Dropping back, it's Kane. Throws to the wideout. It's complete. That's the kind of play that can really get you going as they get it out to the 36. To the ground with the back. Solid fundamentals on that tackle from this freshman. The Wildcats are in the hurry up. I know you want to prepare for every game the same way, but there's just something different about rivalry games, Jesse.
It's because, Reese, I think players are aware that games like this...
The freshman able to get home with the sack.
What a great play. Winning one-on-one, getting home and getting a sack, and that kind of effort is going to get the big house fired up. These 100,000-plus Michigan Wolverine fans are on their feet screaming because of that dominant play right there coming from their defense.
Northwestern will have to punt it away. He's got great speed, working his way on the return up to the 40-yard line before he stopped. And here comes the Michigan offense back on the field. They unleashed an aerial assault last time that took them right to the end zone, David.
So, Reese, with that drive, I think you've accomplished something you wanted to accomplish. Make this defense think. You put them back on their heels. Now, shoot, Palmer, you might be able to slip a few runs in on this drive to really jack them up.
Yeah, I like that idea, but I also like the fact that speed kills. They've got it at the receiver position, so if you've got one-on-one matchups, man, take advantage.
Coming out on 1st down with the play fake. Receiver looks it in, it's complete. And he'll make his way out of bounds after the solid pickup. And now on 2nd down for this offense. They'll run it from the gun. And he doesn't find much running room, a short gain on the play. We're through one, and what a back-and-forth battle between these two quarterbacks as we look at the stats. They've swapped into the field, and we're ready to go in the 2nd. The defense trying to get a stop on 3rd down from the 44. From the gun, wants to pass. Unloads to the wideout. And this is going to be incomplete on 3rd down. The Wolverines send out the punt unit. Let's see if he can help the coverage team out with this one. And he'd hoped to pin him deep. Instead, it will be a touchback. The Northwestern offense returns to the field. They've been pretty much stifled on offense so far, David, only able to muster 3 points in their previous 3 drives.
And you got to find a way to open this up and create some explosive plays. Like, the passing game is obviously the easiest way. Jesse, put more speed on the field, find those guys down the field.
You know they're frustrated, too, because they felt like there were some matchups they could take advantage of to get some points on the board early. In this one, they just haven't been able to connect on those opportunities. But I like David's idea. Maybe move some guys around and see if you can create some better one-on-one matchups.
Fires to the right. And it's picked off. Going the other way, and he's got room. Great job by the freshman. Kept his eyes in the right place and made the play.
It's all about making plays, and this guy's been waiting to make his mark on this team. He gets his first interception of the season, and what a momentum-changing play for his team.
Michigan ready to get that offense rolling again. They had to punt it away on their last possession, but man, what great field position this time.
I mean, this is awesome. Like, last possession didn't go great. Now you're set up in a...
Touchdown, Wolverines! A great catch and run for 6.
This offense is so good. Man, they can hurt you in so many different ways, and they do it so quick, so explosive. They can put small drives together, big drives together. They've really had a great year, and that's why they're a top 10 offense.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And the extra point is good, and they have an 11-point lead. We check in with Kevin Connors. What's going on, Kevin?
Arguably the game of the week, fellas, with 2 top 25 teams locking horns. Wisconsin has the lead right now. Feels like Bucky's been doing his share of push-ups, but they haven't been able to pull away.
He wastes no time and comes out throwing.
They're up by 4 over Ohio State. We'll circle back. If anything big happens, you should know about it.
Thanks for the update on that one, Kevin. Let us know when it goes final. They've already racked up big sack numbers. It's starting to snowball, and they are ready to go again. Looking for a man. It's Kane. Got it set up on the outside. They make the stop, but not before he takes a chunk out of what they need to move the sticks. This defense has kept them backed up. Now one more stop, and they can get off the field on 3rd and long. They're trying to get to it. And this sophomore able to wreak some havoc and get the sack.
Well, I think one of the biggest reasons why this team is finding themselves in the hole here in the first half is this has been a sack party. They can't keep the defense off of their quarterback. They haven't been able to get the ball deep down the field, throwing it with the consistency they want because they can't keep their quarterback standing up straight.
Northwestern will send out the punt team. 3 and out, and not much choice but to get rid of the ball. Really good job by the coverage team to make the stop, and that's where they'll put it in play. Guys, here come those maize and blue winged helmets on offense. Off the play fake on 1st down. The throw. Just too much mustard on that one. Can't miss the target that badly. 2nd down after that incompletion. Wide receiver coming across in motion. The quick out. They make the stop, but not before they do their work up top and pick up a 1st down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Trying to find his man on 1st down. He looks that one in nicely. We anticipate this one being much tighter than the last time these two met when it was a blowout, David.
And here's the thing. You got an opportunity right now. You got the football early in this game to show you. This is going to be more of the same, Paul.
Well, we talked to both coaching staffs and players, and they're all very aware of what happened the last time these two teams played. So expect everybody's A game today. Reese, you're right. We expect this one to be a lot tighter.
They move the tight end all over. From the red zone, looking for a receiver. Coming after it. Hit hard as he released the ball on that 1st down pass, and it never had a chance. And the incompletion brings up a 2nd down. They'll run play action. Into the end zone. And he's got it! Touchdown, Michigan! No midseason doldrums for these guys as they push out the lead in Week 6.
Really nice job working the route and getting himself open. He was able to locate the football, snag it out of the air, and this guy now has 5 receiving touchdowns on the year.
And it looks as if they've buzzed down. Replay wants to have another peek at that last play. And they take another look at the play. The officials on the field were right, and the play will stand. And the extra point will tack another one onto this lead. So that scoring drive took only 6 plays. And they finish it up with a 15-yard scoring toss. And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. Wildcats have it back. The Northwestern offense headed out. This is hardly the start they dreamed of, down 21-3, but get a touchdown. And the Heat will get home, and the quarterback goes down at the 17.
What a great job by this defense, setting the tone early. In the first half, they've been hitting the quarterback early and often. Make him feel uncomfortable. Make him feel that pressure. Keep getting him on the ground. That's why they've built a lead.
This pass rush has just been relentless, and you can bet your bottom dollar they're about to bring the heat again.
Encroachment defense.
The encroachment penalty on the D gives the offense a free 5 yards. Back to throw, it's Cade. Quick strike complete. He is stopped behind the line of scrimmage. They'll lose yards on that one. If they can convert here, that type of play can really give you a shot of momentum. On 3rd and long, you'll need to push it downfield. He got a hand in there, knocks it away, incomplete. Northwestern will send out the punt team. He's getting a lot of work. 4th time he's punted tonight. Signals for the fair catch and looks it in at the 40. First down here for the offense. Power football with the run. That's what you expect from a senior. Don't give them any extra yards. Great tackle there. Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9.
Encroachment defense.
Defense couldn't quite hold its water, and it'll be 5 free yards for the O. Off the play fake. Fires one high and deep. And that's going to be incomplete. Going for broke on 2nd down. The 3rd down's coming up. Trying to pick up a first down. Here's the snap, itching to fire downfield. Finds his target down the middle. That's a fumble. Once that ball was loose, offense didn't have a chance. Defenders everywhere. It's a turnover.
Nice heads-up play by the defense to jump on that ball after it got popped out.
The Northwestern offense returns to the field. They hope to be able to cash in on this drive, David, after having to punt it last time.
Yeah, and I think this offense needs to start it with the first play. You need to be successful and productive on that first play, and it gets you in less predictable situations.
No doubt, too. Don't you just feel like there's a little bit more sense of urgency on this drive? It just feels like they've got to be able to put some points up on the board here.
Quarterback on the keeper. He's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple. Northwestern right back to the line. On 3rd down, going up top. Throws to the tight end. And they'll miss the connection here on 3rd down. Northwestern will have to punt it away. They've been busy out there to punt for the 5th time today. Yet another punt on the way. Got to make sure that hamstring stays loose. He's been busy. They'll put a stop to that return at about the 37-yard line. And here comes the Michigan offense back on the field. Ball security always paramount. That football must be riveted to your rib cage, Jesse, and it wasn't last time.
And look, he knows that happens again. He's going to find himself on the sideline. So this is going to be a dude very motivated to make some plays on this drive.
Yeah, and I think it's frustrating.
Lofts one high and deep. And it slips through his fingers, incomplete. That would have been a huge game if he could have held on. 3rd and long, and he'll try to throw for it. And the deep shot is complete inside the 35-yard line. They get him down, but this offense is set up 1st and goal from the 9.
I know it's early in the game, but defensively after that play, you know you have to tackle the catch. When this guy gets the ball in his hands, he is so dangerous after the fact. So it's okay for him to make catches. You just got to get him to the ground quickly.
And the Wolverines trying to get a touchdown on 1st and goal. Wide receiver now comes in motion. Keeping it on the ground on 1st and goal. He'll pick up 3 before he's downed at the 6. Now the offense tries to punch it in on 2nd and goal. They'll put the tight end in motion. They'll keep it on the ground, right up the gut, looking for 6. He's got it down to the 1-yard line, right on the doorstep of Pater. As they come to the line, they've moved it, but they need 1 more yard on 3rd down. Pushes ahead. That just never had a chance as they controlled the middle of the field and stopped him in the backfield on 3rd down. And on 4th down, they'll try to salvage the drive with a field goal. Splits the uprights right down the middle. And now the lead is extended a little far. They're really starting to extend that lead as they get ready to kick it away again. And he's going to bring it out of the end zone. He stopped at the 23, a couple yards short of where he would have been with a touchback. Wildcats have it back. The Northwestern offense headed out. They're down by 21 points, but you get a touchdown here, and you do at least apply a little game pressure, Jesse.
It's true. I think for them to get back in this one at this point now, they need the quarterback to play his best football. He's going to have to be good really pre-snap, David.
They get him up rush, and it pays off. The sack at the 20.
What a great play. This guy is a force on this D-line. You think about Michigan football defensively, they've got dudes up front. Aiden Hutchinson, Brandon Graham, Mozzie Smith, Rashawn Gary, guys that can win one-on-one, and guys that change and force your game plan to have to adapt for them. You need to double team these guys if you want to have any chance. This is that type of player. He's got so much ability.
It's complete to the right. And he's not going to get there. The defense stands tall and makes the stop. Northwestern will send out the punt team. And these guys have been busy. 6th punt of the day. Slips through the line. This guy is a daring punt return man. He's not going to settle for the fair catch. A solid return. Gets a little bit of ground for the offense. Now they'll try the right side.
And sticking to the run. I'll tell you what, a lot of teams that are really good are really stubborn. And they continue to run the football even with little success. So this offense is going to continue to focus on running the football. You can tell.
Nice, solid form tackle from this sophomore. As we reach the 2-minute warning, they'll need to try to get a stop to keep this thing from getting out. He lost one down the sideline. And they wanted it all on 3rd down, but now dealing with 4th down. The Wolverines will try to pin them back with the punt. 4th time tonight we've seen this guy come on to punt. And that one will find its way into the end zone for a touchback. The Northwestern offense returns to the field. They find themselves in a pretty deep hole here, but maybe a chance to grab a little momentum and regroup at halftime.
Yeah, a big chance. Like this is an opportunity. This is the biggest opportunity in front of them in the game right now. You got to get some points on the board. You got to create something positive, Jason. There hasn't been a whole lot to be positive about in the first half.
If I'm playing quarterback, I'm locating my go-to.
And the defense gets to the quarterback.
They got more sacks than a grocery store. Goodness gracious, time and time again, getting to the quarterback, getting him on the ground. This defense having their way.
This offensive line has just been unable to keep them away from the quarterback. Now it's 2nd and long. A timeout is called as this offense tries to find a way to get more points on the board before the half. And that's going to fall to the ground incomplete. That was a physical matchup there. Third down coming. The give out of the gun. And he runs through one tackle and picks up a few. The defense going to stop the clock with a timeout. They want to make sure they have everybody on the same page. Northwestern will have to punt it away. Looking for a block. It's Burks. He's brought down, but there's also a penalty marker down. Let's see what this is about.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Defense.
So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. So the offense keeps this drive alive thanks to the roughing the punter penalty. Fires to the tight end. Here's a timeout on the field. Tight game here late in the first half. After the first down completion, it's second and short. Back to throw, it's Kane. Unloads to the right. Reacted well to the tip, but just couldn't squeeze the football. Instead of the turnover, it'll be third down. They'll try to get it through the air. And a missed opportunity on third down as the defense knocks it free, and fourth down is coming up. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. Got it past the marker. Good job running that route to get past the sticks because he got nothing after the catch. Lost to throw on first down. Pocket starts to collapse. That one never had a chance. Incomplete. Couldn't make the connection on first down. Now here on second. He's looking to throw. Feeling some heat. And the quarterback is toast back at the 35. Northwestern wants to go quickly. On third and long, hoping to throw beyond the sticks. Finds his tight end. And he's not going to make it. The defense denying him the first down. Offense calls a timeout here. Critically important to make sure they have the right play call and everyone on the same page here. The official says no good. After the missed field goal, still down by 21 points. That's the end of the second quarter. That means it's time to join Kevin and our halftime update.
Fellas, what an environment there today. All the animosity and flat-out hatred that comes with a good old-fashioned rivalry game on display in that first half. And there is no better place to start this halftime than by reviewing how this wideout has been a one-man wrecking crew. The kid's been everywhere. And I love how he's willing to go across the middle, but that he also has the jets to burn these DBs on the deep ball. If this defense wants to actually come back in this one, he better hide his cleats. That said, let's get back to the field and our guys in the booth to see who comes out on top of this rivalry contest.
And the returner will be brought down. Wildcats have it back. The Northwestern offense headed out. When you're facing a deficit like this one to start the second half, you really can't afford to waste a single possession.
Fresh start here in the second half. That's the only way you can look at this if you're on offense. Things did not go your way there in the first half. It starts with one play. To get our confidence going, you just got to get something going early here on this drive.
One play, stay aggressive. Now I think I can be even more aggressive on fourth.
Fires into trap back, picked off. Oh, he gave him the limp leg. Taking it the other way. And with the interception, he'll take it all the way back. Touchdown, Wolverines.
And stop it. How about back-to-back beats with pick sixes? This guy is now making plays, not just for his defense. He's scoring points, and I promise you the locker room is a lot of fun. Mr. Pick Six, he's going to get a lot of congratulations and a lot of accolades this week.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And with the extra point, they've pushed the lead out a little further. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Boys, if it's happening in college football, we've got eyes on it. Check this out. Miami has the lead right now, but this Canes crowd is restless. They just haven't been able to separate themselves yet there in the 305. They're up by 4 over Wyoming. Any big developments in this one, we've got you covered with the best studio team in the business, gentlemen.
Oh, and how about that? I know Kevin and those guys will be keeping an eye on it for us. They'll snap it on first down from the 35. Use the play fake, now to throw. And the quarterback is snowed under.
This defense has taken the game over. They're winning the game in large part because of how dominant they've been up front, how good their pass rush has been.
After the big first down sack for the D, it's second down. Looking to throw, it's Kane. Steps away. Trying to make magic with his feet. And they swarm him under. Third and short from the 44, and we might know if they plan to go for it on fourth down by what they call here. Looking to move the chains. They throw it complete to the left. And he's knocked down immediately, but not before he moves the chains. Northwestern moving the ball expeditiously. Using his legs, it's Carter. At the 40, there he goes. They wrestle him to the ground, but he's got plenty for a first down. Northwestern comes to the line with a fresh set of downs. They're getting this guy lathered up. Tackled at the 31. They'll give him 6 on the play. Got 6 on first down. Now a lot of options on second and 4. Trying play action. Fires to the big fella. Really nice job there by both guys to throw and the catch to work that defense and get the first down. Trying to cap this drive with the pass. Quickly complete. And he goes out of bounds after a nice pickup on that one. It'll be second down, and remember, they can pick up a first without scoring. He wants to throw here on second down. He's got it. And he was thinking 6, but that D knocks him down at the 2. Northwestern will line up with a first and goal. They'll go with a direct snap. He steps and powers and works his way, and they finally get him down at the 2. Now it's second and goal. Tries again to get it in. He works his way ever closer all the way down to the 1-yard line. If this offense wants to stay in this game, they have to punch it in on this drive. It's third and goal. They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one. Now on fourth down, they'll try to come away with 3. And the kicker delivers the 3 ball to finish off the drive.
That makes the score Michigan 31, Northwestern 6.
After putting 3 on the board, the kickoff unit ready to go. And he'll bring it out of the end zone. He only needs a sliver of daylight. He's got an alley. Wide open, and it's a foot race. They eventually chase him down, but what a spectacular return that almost went all the way. The offense showing motion from the tight end, trying to get a read on the D. Off the play fake on first down to throw. That completion takes them down to the 7-yard line, and they are ready to strike. Second down coming up on this red zone opportunity. Fast motion from the offense. They go to the ground. So close to that end zone. He could almost taste it, but it'll be first and goal for this offense. If you don't tip the scales at 3 bills, stay on the sidelines. Big boys in the goal line D. Touchdown, Michigan! And the punishment has been extended. Now they have extended this lead, guys, starting to put the hammer, but sometimes a rivalry game can give you a little of extra fight back.
And there can be no panic at this point now. You've worked too hard this offseason, David. They've had this game circled for so long. You've got to play your best football right now and fight back.
And you just need something good to happen on this next possession. You got to get the crowd back into this football game. Big rivalry. Get some emotion. Get some momentum on your side.
About to kick it off after punching it in for the touchdown. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. He was hoping for something a little more dynamic, but they get him on the ground at the 20. The Northwestern offense returns to the field. Caught over the middle. It's Siegel. Nice pitch and catch there, and they'll have enough for the first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. The give from the gun. Really nice run there. Good, solid pickup, and they'll move the sticks for the first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. He'll come out throwing on first down. Got his man quickly. And a pickup of 8 opens a world of opportunities on 2nd and 2. Looking to throw, it's Kane. Throws for the tight end. And he is finding wide open defenders all over the field. His 3rd interception of the day.
Not all DBs make the play in the end, right? They can bat the ball down. They can be in position. They don't really secure the football. Great job by the DB securing the football and forcing the turnover.
Michigan ready to get that offense rolling again. They'll pull it on the read. Not much working there. It'll be 2nd and 9. Clock ticks across the 4-minute mark here in the 3rd. Wide out in motion. On 2nd down, looking to throw. Oh, so close to paying off the tip. Really had it in his hands, but it falls incomplete. On 3rd and long, he's going to have to throw for it. They'll run the screen. They finally get him stopped, but what a good job by that front wall to set up the screen and create some lanes for their running back. Leaves it with the running back. And he does a really nice job finding open space and making a good gain before the stop is made. Going to the running game. Powers through the defender. He's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple. The defense trying to get a stop on 3rd down from the 44. From the gun, wants to pass. Got his man to the left. Touchdown, Wolverines! And the beatdown has ensued. Like a Thanksgiving turkey. They're just being caught. No shot. They have no idea how to get in his quarterback's head.
He's on fire. Everything he's doing is working defensively. We've got to figure something out. We've got to try to do something a little bit different. Bring more pressure. At this rate, shoot, he's on so much fire, you might as well just send everybody. Blitz everybody, live with the results, because everything else ain't working anyways.
And the extra point is good. About to kick it away after scoring the touchdown. Here he comes from inside his own 5. He was hoping for something a little more dynamic, but they get him on the ground at the 20. Wildcats have it back to Northwestern offense headed out. That last drive was promising for a while, but you just can't mess it up at the end with the pick, Jesse.
No, you've got to be able to finish drives, especially in this game if you're going to win. And, David, they've got to be able to eliminate the mental mistakes.
Yeah, and I don't think you get conservative or play it safe. You can trust your guy. I think you put the ball right back in his hands and let him do his thing.
So they're facing 3rd and short from the 25. To throw, it's Kane. Lets it fly. Pulls it in. Can anyone catch it? The 10. And he'll take it to the house. He got loose. Touchdown, Northwestern.
Man, how hard is it to defend when you have a weapon like this at running back that can play wide receiver? You can design ways to get the football in his hand. Palmer, once you get it in his hands, he'll do the rest.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, and oftentimes those are easier throws for quarterbacks. And these running backs, they're just naturally so good when they have the football out in space. Their vision, their creativity, their ability to make people miss. And this guy showed you right there a difficult guy to stop now if you're this defense moving forward.
And he knocks the extra point through the uprights. Lining up to cover the kick after that touchdown drive.
Northwestern, 13.
Bringing it out. Stopped at the 17, and he's probably second-guessing that return. First snap of this drive will come from their own 17. Off the play fake on first down. Makes the grab on the left. And you want to talk about his favorite receiver, it might be everybody, based on the number of guys getting touches and a chance to show off their hands in the passing game. So will the beatdown continue, or is this a comeback for the ages in store? We'll see as we start the fourth. He'll keep it himself. And the freshman does a great job using his technique and getting the man on the ground. Third down conversions are a huge stat, and this one would be a doozy if they can pull it off. Looking to the big tight end. All kinds of room to throw that one in there. And they are pushing the ball down the field. A big pickup on that one, and the tackle is finally made. And the Wolverines will line it up on 1st and 10. They'll leave it with him.
I never know if it's grammatically correct to say a team's being out physical. You hear it a lot in football, though. That's happening in this game. They are just not getting the push they need all game long up front to have any success when they decide to run.
And they're able to shove him to the turf as they stop him for a short gain. They'll go to the ground. And he's a real nowhere man tackled in this no-gain land. The Wolverines will punt this one away. They may have to pay him overtime. He's punting for the 5th time today.
Dude, how about that boom? I mean, you talk about power. That dude just booted that thing halfway across the field, completely flipping the field position and getting it down inside the 10. That is a nice job by that punter.
And they'll shove him out of bounds after the short gain. A little bit more to go after that last completion. They'll try to pick it up on 2nd down. They'll give it to the back. He's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple. Not exactly the ideal situation for this offense. 3rd and long, backed up inside their 20. Backed up in their own end. Maybe a quick hitter. Oh, they really could have used that catch there. Physical pass defense. It brings up a 4th down. He gets it away from his own end zone. Dances away again. The solid return there offsets some of the punt yardage and really sets up this offense nicely. Guys, here come those maize and blue winged helmets on offense. They knock him down inside the 30 at the 29. It's a pickup of 6. 6-yard pickup on 1st down. Leaves him with 2nd and 4. He's looking to throw. Got his man down the middle. And the defense makes the immediate tackle, but he has enough for the 1st down. He's going to pass. And that pass is intercepted. He was looking for room to return that, but he'll just hand it to the offense. They'll take over at the 18.
And that's such a great job of seeing the play, seeing it unfold, breaking on the football, making the interception, and you will absolutely never forget getting that first career INT, that big play, that big moment.
Wasting no time throwing on this drive. How about that play to get a hand in there and force the incompletion? After the quarterback and receiver failed to hook up, they'll try it again on 2nd down. What a snag by the defense. He was looking for room to return that, but he'll just hand it to the offense. They'll take over at the 18.
And as a defensive lineman late in the game, man, when you know it's pass, you're pinning your ears back, trying to get to the quarterback, and DBs are trying to do this. Pad them stats, get the INT. Nice job by this defense.
And here comes the Michigan offense back on the field. And boy, they missed an opportunity last time throwing that pick in the red zone, David.
Yeah, and you got to put that frustration behind you. You can't turn it over. That's a Cardinal sin. You know better than that, Jesse. You can't take points off the board, but you got to move on.
You do. I think he just got way too overeager down in the red zone that last drive. So just come out here, trust your reads, trust what your coaches have told you to do, and just go out and execute the offense.
And a decent gain there before the defense makes a stop. Heftiness coming out on the goal line. They're going to give him another chance on 2nd and goal. He's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple. They love to make this short field pay off with a touchdown instead of a field goal, but it's 3rd and goal. And he'll be brought down. And the offense doesn't bat an eye. They'll stay on the field and try to score from the 1 on 4th down. Trying to barge in. He is denied. Stopped just short of the goal line. Pushed his way to the 1 and could go no further. And they'll turn it over on downs. They'll try the run.
Well, we know this defense is one that plays with a lot of pride, right? And part of that is their ability stopping the run. They're a top 25 unit in the nation when it comes to stopping the rush, and that really helps them out down here in the red zone. They're going to have to step up big time in this situation.
Solid fundamentals on that tackle from this freshman. Now facing a 3rd and long. From the gun, running back gets to give. And Shore tacked him there to keep him from getting to the 1st down marker. Northwestern will send out the punt team. He just wanted to get it out of there from his end zone. He gets a block. And the punt team able to sling him to the ground. Michigan ready to get that offense rolling again. They've got it back after that last drive stalled out, and they were stopped on 4th down, David.
Yeah, and they put a little bit of a drive together, but, Jesse, they stalled on the other side of the field, and they got to find a way to keep that momentum going as they get closer to the end zone.
I agree. I do like their mindset, though, and I think they need to continue being aggressive moving forward in this game.
And they'll bring him down after a short pickup. 3rd and short coming from the 34. You wonder if this is 4-down territory. He'll ride his man on the option. Now the pitch. He will step out of bounds, but not before the big pickup and a 1st down for this offense. The handoff keep working on that clock. And he found plenty of running room on that one before the defense was finally able to get him down.
And that's another 1st down.
Comes out throwing on 1st down. Crisp execution in the passing game, and they've got it down to the 3. 2nd down here, and maybe they've got time to get one more snap off before the 2-minute warning. Running back searching for a hole. Touchdown, Michigan! And the route is on. That one ought to give them firm control of this game, and they have gotten things going here, about to move to 4-1. On to attempt the try.
Is on for the extra point.
And the extra point just tacks a little bit more onto this huge lead. And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
Hey, guys, let's take a look at what's happening in a great top 25 matchup. Notre Dame is currently trailing, but this has been a back-and-forth affair. If that quarterback can find a little magic a la Joe Montana, this might not be over yet. They're trailing by just 4 to Florida State. Just another week of college football where we've come to expect the unexpected, fellas.
And how about that one? Kevin will be keeping an eye on everything going on elsewhere. And this set of downs gets started from the 33, 1st and 10. He wants to throw. Getting some heat. Hit hard just as he released it on 1st down and just couldn't get it to the receiver. Offense gets set for 2nd down. Couldn't connect on 1st down, now back to the air. Trying to get to it. Discards a man.
Well, great job there by the defense because they weren't able to get him sacked right away, but you saw the coverage in the back end. Nowhere for the quarterback to throw the football. Didn't get the sack, obviously you don't get the negative play, but you also don't give up a big one. You're feeling pretty good about where you are right now in this drive.
Northwestern ready to dial one up on 1st down. Looking to move it through the air. He'll get rid of it. Wide open downfield. And it is a chunk play, a huge gain on that one before the defense brings it to an end.
And this offense has got to kick it in high gear now. Making a big play, that is great, but we got to go up-tempo. We got to go fast. We're trailing big in this ball game. We got to put a lot of drives together.
And here's a fumble way behind the line. Oh, the offense very fortunate to fall on that football. After the stumble earlier this year, a lot of people wrote this team off. People might be searching for spots on the bandwagon again now.
Yeah, give this coaching staff a lot of credit too, Reese, because they made a few tweaks and adjustments schematically to their personnel as well, and they've really now seemed to find a nice rhythm.
And it's hard to find that early in the season, but the good teams figure out who they are, what they do well, and you can tell they're starting to get in a groove, figure out who does what well, and maximize that and accentuate that.
That's going to do it for us. For Jesse Palmer, David Pollack, our entire broadcast team, I'm Reese Davis. This has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.